Hello my loves and welcome back. Today we're going to work through all of the poses in an earth salutation. We'll be talking about the transitions, we'll be going through the flow nice and slow so you get to explore all of the poses with some tricky transitions, some alternatives to those poses and modifications along the way. So before we begin this practice, I do want to mention that if you are looking for a 30 to 40 minute flow, then come check out my Patreon. We do a full warm-up for the poses and some of the transitions are a little tricky, so I help you with that too. Join now and you'll unlock all of the previous videos in the video vault, and there are over 2 years worth of videos, which is around 48 classes. I'd love for you to join me. The link is in the description. So we'll begin kneeling in a seated position here. Now, traditionally, this could be hero's pose. Maybe your butt rests on the floor. What I find most people like instead is thunderbolt pose, with the legs in, the knees apart, and sitting their bum on their heels. If that feels too tricky for you, use a block and sit on your block here. So come into this kneeling position, whatever that is for you, and just notice. And what I want you to notice in your body today is, where is your head in relationship to your pelvis? Are those two things directly on top of each other here, aligned? Or do you perhaps feel like your head is further forward? Maybe you feel rounded in the lower back. Do you feel like your head is tipped back and you're arched through the lower back? Perhaps you feel that there's a discrepancy right to left. Maybe your head feels more tilted to one side, and even if it's just a subtle difference, just see if you can feel anything there. Take one more breath here. And inhale, reach the arms up. And as you exhale, hinge forward, connect your forehead to the floor. Maybe the arms reach back. Just saluting the earth here, feeling that connection of the third eye to the floor. If you feel maybe that your head doesn't connect to the floor, then maybe use a block underneath your forehead here. Let your hands come to the floor, maybe underneath the shoulders. Push up, tuck your toes, and just see if you can lift your hips up and take forward fold, Uttanasana here. Maybe your knees are deeply bent, hamstrings might not be ready for this yet. And maybe you want to take a little pedal through the feet, just to wake up the legs. Settle into your forward fold. Bend the knees, bring the hands back down, and then sit back into child's pose. Reach the hands forward, and then come up to all fours here. Take a little bit of cat and cow. Now this is not in your traditional earth salutation, but I sometimes feel that coming straight into any salutation is not a good thing. We need to warm our bodies up first. And then settle into neutral. Hinge forward, bring the belly and the chest down. Hands will remain underneath the chest here. Draw your shoulders back. Lift your head, your shoulders and your chest away from the floor. A little cobra here. Now, if you wanted to, and if you're warm, you could maybe explore doing upward facing dog, but I think for an earth salutation, we need to be as connected to the floor as possible, which is why I prefer cobra here. And release. Navel to spine, and push strongly to all fours. Now, as you push strongly to all fours, draw your knees forward, tuck your toes, rock back onto your feet, and then send your bum down to the floor. Lengthen your legs forward. If that feels a little tricky, because it is a little tricky position, you're coming into Malasana here, this deep squat. If that feels a little tricky, then just sweep your legs around. And then send your legs forward into Dandasana, staff pose here. Feet hip distance apart. Feel the sit bones rooted to the floor. Take an inhale, maybe the arms lift. As you exhale, just fold forward any amount. Now, if you feel that you're perhaps feeling this more through the hamstrings, then you have the option to bend the knees. And if I'm doing that, what I like to do is I suggest that you place blocks underneath your knees and just settle into your forward fold here. Maybe your forearms rest and you rest the head on the forearms. Now we will be coming into this forward fold again, so just notice what your body needs right now. Unfold. Maybe you remove the blocks if you had them underneath your knees. And from here, you have options. You can just roll down using your core and end up on your back. You can use your hands for support. You can even bend the knees and then come down. But I'd like you to come down onto your back. Now, I like to bend my knees and support my back body, but that's because I have kidney issues and that just feels more comfortable for my kidneys. You choose the version that works for you. As you feel your back body here connected to the floor, then pull your navel to your spine. Activate through the abdominals here, and from the abdominals, can you lift your right leg up and away from the floor? Now, if your back arched away, then you need to lift the leg a little bit higher, but usually around 45 degrees is the angle that we're looking for here. If you can get it lower, then that's fine, get it lower. But sometimes less is more, you know? Sometimes doing less work is better. Release that down. Take a breath. Draw your navel to your spine. Lift your left leg up and away. Now, I like to point my toes here just so that I activate the muscles in the legs here. Gets a little bit of energy through the whole leg. Plus, it looks nicer on the thumbnails. Release that back down. Take a breath. Now, that is your variation, and you're more than welcome to stay with that. If you want to work a little bit harder and work more into your core, then draw your navel to your spine, and without the lower back popping away from the floor, pull the navel to the spine, and can you lift both legs? Again, if your lower back starts to lift, you have the options to lift the legs a little higher. Maybe you're here, maybe you can be lower. And if that's too challenging, maybe skip it or just do a single leg. And then release the legs down. Take a breath. And draw the knees up, feet to the floor, close towards your bum. Push the upper arms down into the floor, push the shoulders down, push the heels down and lift your hips up. So we did a little bit of work for the core, and now we're lengthening through that front body. Release the pelvis back down, and as it reconnects, then draw your knees towards your chest. Now you have options. You can roll to one side, push yourself up, or you can do a little bit more energetic work and roll yourself up. Once you come up, let the legs lengthen forward, and I did warn you that there was another forward fold. So again, if you need to, plug some space underneath. So if you need to, blocks again come underneath the knees, or you leave the legs extended, fold forward and take your forward fold. Unfold, rise. From here, options to sweep the legs around and come into your kneeling or feet close to the bum. Come back into your squat position here, your Malasana, as your transition to drop the knees to the floor. And find here, maybe the toes are tucked, maybe the toes are lengthened back. Whatever works for your body here. I like toes tucked when I come into a kneeling position here, but you're going to come up into a standing kneeling position. Maybe you have a little bit of a cushion underneath your knees. Take the hands to the back of your pelvis here, draw the shoulders back. And if this is your camel, then you're more than welcome to stay here. Or can you tip back, open the heart here, and find some heart open back bend. Release. Shake that out a little bit, let the shoulders relax. Untuck the toes, sit the hips, third eye to the floor, maybe the arms reach back. Inhale, come to seated, reach the arms, hands to the heart. Let's take a couple of breaths. As we end our practice here, thinking again about the alignment of our spine. Where is your head in relationship to your pelvis? Does anything feel different here? Ending our practice with 3 breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Again, breathe in and out. One more big deep inhale. And a loud exhale. Resting here. Body, mind, heart and breath. Balanced as one. Namaste.